Welcome to this week's Eternal Monday, where Spiritomb from Unbroken Bonds, paired up with Alakazam from the original base set, takes on Darkrai VSTAR from Astral Radiance. If you're new here, you might be wondering what the heck even is the Eternal format. In short, it is the unlimited format with a ban list. So this means the format features cards from the original base set all the way through to the most recent tournament legal set. Although it's an unofficial format, it's an incredibly fun format with a lot of rich deck building and gameplay experience to be had. If you're interested in learning more about the Eternal format, you can do so at justinbasil.com/eternal. Up first, we're going to look at Spiritomb from Unbroken Bonds, which has the Anguish Cry attack that does 10 damage and then does 30 more damage for each damage counter on Spiritomb. Now you may be thinking 60 HP is not an awful lot of HP. You're probably not going to be doing all that much damage. And while you might normally be right, you're not going to be right in this particular instance because we have Cape of Toughness to add an additional 50 HP to Spiritomb to make it even harder to knock out with our own damage that we're going to be doing to Spiritomb. So we have Building Spite to throw a damage counter on there each turn. We have Unknown Peas Put to put a damage counter on there each turn. And of course we have Alakazam and its damage swap Pokemon power to move damage counter onto Spiritomb, but not knock it out, so that we're able to do big damage with Anguish Cry. Additionally, we have access to Radiant Charizard to clean up the ends of the games or just get damage out as necessary. In short, lots of things in this deck do damage to Spiritomb or to other Pokemon, and we're able to move that damage where it matters, when it matters. You've got Rainbow Energy, Gape Jawbog, Put, Building Spite. You've got options, you've got lots of ways to put damage on, and then as a result, you're able to do big damage. I will say for the record, this is a fairly early draft of Spiritomb. This deck is not polished. This is a very Eternal format deck, so this is not really based on anything either. But when it works, it's really cool. But now that we've looked at Spiritomb, let's look at Darkrai. Darkrai is your favorite, straightforward, do things fast deck. You're wanting to build a bunch of energy in play so that you can hit high numbers with Darkrai VSTAR, which in this particular matchup is not really an ideal route. You do also have access to Darkrai EX that has the Dark Cloak ability that says each of your Pokemon that has any darkness energy attached has no retreat cost, but it also has the Night Spear attack that could be especially valuable in this particular matchup. Night Spear does 90 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and then does an additional 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Now you're not applying weakness and resistance for benched Pokemon, but Spiritomb often is very weak in this matchup because it's put a lot of damage on itself so that it can do big damage in response. If Darkrai EX is powered up and Spiritomb is unable to get a bench barrier Pokemon in play, then Darkrai really cleans up, punishing the heck out of Spiritomb for failing to have a bench barrier in play. But you have some ways to get energy in play, including Darkrai GX's Restoration that puts Darkrai GX from your discard pile onto your bench and then attaches a darkness energy from your discard pile to that Darkrai. You also have Galarian Moltres that attaches 2 darkness energy from your hand, and Galarian Moltres V that each turn attaches a darkness energy to Galarian Moltres V to get that energy in play each turn. Additionally, you have some special energy options, including Scramble Energy, which is very similar to Reversal Energy, but specifically does not work on Pokemon EX, as little x, and Holland's Magaton that turns into a special energy when you bounce another energy attached to one of your Pokemon into your hand when attaching Holland's Magaton. All in all, Turbo Darkrai VSTAR just wants to go fast and do big damage, but in this matchup, it has to take a different approach. Let's see how it does. Our players are just finishing setting up here. See a decent hand on the right for Spiritomb. An Aberstart is actually really good. That gets you free retreat, so you can find what you want and get it in the active fairly easily. Darkrai EX is not what this deck really wants to be facing up against, but the fact that the Darkrai EX is in the active spot is okay. It means they won't be dark patching to it super easy. We do see a Spiritomb and a Rainbow Energy come down onto the Spiritomb on the bench there, and Building Spike gets it to 20 damage. The other player here on Darkrai side just squawking away that hand immediately, going for some other avenues of play. Do you see a Darkrai V, a couple of Darkrai V on the bench now, and an attachment on the both on the bench and the active. The bench one, of course, via Restoration on that Darkrai GX. See a Battle Compressor for 2 Darkness Energy, 3 Darkness Energy, right out of the gate, getting some Darkness Energy in the discard pile for future Dark Patches, including the Dark Patch they're playing right now. The Dark Patch coming down and attaching to that Darkrai, the Darkrai V there. Luxury Ball coming down, and just going to throw the Squawk ability in the active spot and hope that the Spiritomb player won't be able to knock it out. We do see a Trainer's Mail on the Spiritomb side. Getting a Gape Jawbog. Gape Jawbog's pretty good here. That means that any Pokemon that the Spiritomb player brings out at this point will be damaged, and with Alakazam, that damage can be moved onto a Spiritomb to do extra damage. Picking an in off of that Trainer's Mail, throwing another Spiritomb down, hitting it with the Gape Jawbog damage, and an Iono. Iono just being played. Spiritomb says, you know what, my hand's not so great. Let's get something else. See a level ball digging for an Alakazam. Alakazam does not have more than 90 HP, so you can find that Alakazam off of a level ball, which is wild. We see a rare candy in the Alakazam, so damage swap is now available. Trainer's Mail, once again, digging a little bit further into the deck, getting the Cape of Toughness. Cape of Toughness going to make it so that that Spiritomb can take a little bit more damage before it's knocked out. Cape of Toughness, probably not necessary at the moment, though. Just putting 30 on the active Spiritomb. Not sure what's going on here damage-wise. Okay, so, they're rearranging the damage a little bit more than that. Putting 50 on the active and just 10 on the bench. Cape of Toughness feels a little bit wasted here, unfortunately. They didn't do more damage than they would have needed to do to take KO anyway, so a bit of waste, but there is an attachment on the now active Darkrai VSTAR, so it can take a knockout here and take that last little bit of damage on that Spiritomb. A quick ball discarding a Dowsing Machine. That is a bold strategy. We do see another Darkrai EX come down, though. So there's now 2 in play. Seeing a draw off of the Crobat. And a V-Star power. Looks like we're going to get another double Dark Patch. Ooh. This Darkrai player is seeing the avenue for that Darkrai EX, and they're going for it. Choosing to Guzma up the Alakazam, knock it out so that damage can't be rearranged. Very good play off that Guzma from the Darkrai player. Getting a little bit of extra damage in play on the Spiritomb is not the best thing in the world, but they're very unlikely to be punished, as without Alakazam, the Spiritomb player really can't do much to take advantage of that extra damage, except with its Anguish Cry attack. We do see a Rescue Carrier off a Computer Search getting a Mr. Mime and an Abra in play. Spiritomb player not letting that Mime go absent much longer now that Darkrai is playing around. We do see a Teammates grabbing a pair of cards to keep going here. A Rainbow Energy on one of the bench Spiritomb. And Building Spite to 60 on the active Spiritomb. Lots of Building Spite on the bench. And we are going to see a knockout. That Darkrai EX on the active spot is knocked out. Spiritomb is now down to just 2 prize cards remaining. See a quick ball discarding a Professor's Research for a Lapras. Lapras is finding an Iono. Iono probably going to see play right now, but not just yet, it looks like. Okay, so attachment to the Darkrai V on the bench, and then the Iono, putting the Spiritomb player down to 2 cards, and the Darkrai player to 5. We do see another Dark Patch, attaching yet another energy to the bench Darkrai V, which is now Darkrai V-Star after evolution. So there is now another prize for the Darkrai player. That Abra with that free retreat in the active spot, super good. We finally see Unknown coming out to play, taking damage from Gape Jawbog, but also now available to drop some extra damage counters on these Spiritomb. So we see 80 on the active Spiritomb thanks to Cape of Toughness. Unfortunately, no Alakazam in play means that there's going to be a whiff on the knockout here. And with the help of the ability on the Darkrai EX on the bench, the damaged Darkrai V-Star is just going to retreat out into the fresh one on the bench and take a knockout again. Spiritomb once again going down. Now the player here needs desperately to find some way to chip in some more damage or just to find something at this point. We see a Prism Energy on a bench Spiritomb. It's not awful, but it's probably not going to be enough. It's just 50 damage. So it's still not going to knock out that V-Star. The V-Star is just going to retreat out yet again, I have to imagine. We do see yet another Iono. Iono putting the player who played it down to 3 this time. The price trade rather has gotten a little bit tighter. All right, Spiritomb once again goes down, unfortunately. The Abra goes the active spot as a free retreater, and you just kind of have to pray. We got a Verse Seeker, so there is a Teammates option here. Teammates can go into the deck and find a Radiant Charizard. Radiant Charizard and either a Prism or Rainbow Energy will end this game. There's a Prism Energy from the hand. Abra is going to be treated to the bench. And then Radiant Charizard is going to do 250 damage, knocking out the active Darkrai V-Star. And that is game. Spiritomb, with the help of Radiant Charizard, manages to take down Darkrai V-Star. Gotta say, Darkrai VSTAR player maybe didn't play that the best. Spiritomb player had some fumbles too. Man, it's nice when a deck works, and Spiritomb did what it was supposed to for the most part, and that Radiant Charizard ending, look, you love to see it. Hopefully you enjoyed this game as much as I did, and you'll be back for more next Monday, but don't forget to come back on Wednesday for the bonus video. The bonus video is going to be Garchomp EX versus Roaring Moon EX. You won't want to miss it. And if you happen to find yourself in the San Antonio area on February 10th, you can join us at Dragon's Lair at Alamo Ranch for the next in real life Eternal Format tournament. Deck validation and registration begins at 11 with round 1 to start at approximately noon. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.